Hello and welcome to the Super Terb Podcast with your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert, where we'll talk real estate, sports, business, and beer in the Triangle. And now, here's your host, Michael Turbot.
And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert out of the Raleigh-Durham area, or what we call the Triangle, also known as Super Terb, Coach Terb, and I can't be more happy for you guys to join me on my podcast today. For many that are maybe joining me for the first time, this podcast is designed specifically to highlight real estate, sports, local and nationally, businesses in the Triangle, and one of my favorites, local beer in the Triangle. I most importantly try to highlight a local business owner to discuss how they got started, what their goals are, their ambitions. And today I can't be more excited about my guest. I actually know him pretty well. He's my brother-in-law, Kelly Sain. He's actually owner of Woodplay of the Carolinas. Just a little over a year and a half ago, he and my sister purchased the company, stepped out of his comfort zone, had a dream to run his own business, and they are doing awesome. So I cannot wait to have him on my show here in a few minutes so you guys can get to know him and what he does in the Triangle. And also want to touch on sports. Okay, for many of you guys, you probably know, if you follow me, you are aware of the fact that I am a huge Carolina Panthers fan, and this last weekend was a tough loss for us. We lost by 1 point to the Minnesota Vikings. We are what we call in a rebuild year. I like to call it a recharge year or reloading. We're very young. We have some guys that are learning how to win, but yesterday was a tough one to swallow. We were down 11 in the fourth quarter to Minnesota. We had a block field goal to go up 14. We actually had the ball inside the 10, up 3, had to settle for a field goal in Minnesota, went down, scored, and in Panther-like fashion, we still had a field goal to win, which we missed. But we are growing. We didn't have much expectation going into this year. We did win a few games, so I'm excited to see where we go. We have a bye upcoming, and the NFL will have 5 weeks to go after this weekend, or this weekend moving forward. So the playoffs should be very exciting. In saying that, I hope everyone wish everyone had a awesome Thanksgiving. My family and I were able to go up to Grove Park Inn in Asheville, North Carolina, and had an awesome time. Saw my wife's sister, her family, and for you guys that maybe listening outside of North Carolina, one of the awesome things about living in the Raleigh-Durham area, we're pretty much in the central part of the state. You have the mountains a few hours west. You have the beaches to the east, and it's just a great place. So getting into real estate, I touched on this at the beginning of the podcast, but I am a real estate agent here in the Raleigh-Durham area. I've been selling almost 15 years, helping people accomplish their real estate goals. So every podcast I like to either give a little tidbit or a piece of advice on what you may be thinking or give you highlights of the market. And today I wanted to answer a question that I get a lot of, which is from buyers, specifically first-time buyers that are asking me, is it still a good time to buy Terb, knowing that we're going into the holidays? As I make this podcast, it's November 30th, so we do have December upon us with the holidays and 2021 knocking on the doorstep. My answer to them is, of course, yes. Rates, just had a client close this past Tuesday at a 2.65 interest rate, 30-year fix with 5% down. Money is almost free. In saying that, your rent is probably more than what your mortgage would be. If you're thinking about buying, do not wait. Plus, with the holidays, you may have a little less competition. Our supply was already at a historic low, but the sellers that have their homes on the market now are ready for buyers. So get out there. If you have any questions you'd like for me to get you in contact with one of my preferred lenders just to get you pre-qualified, see what your monthly payment may be, I'd be more than happy to do so. So do not wait. 2021, I may get in that later or in my next podcast. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball, but I still see rates staying around the same, so take advantage. So I'm going to take a small break, and again, when I come back on the other side, I'm going to introduce you to my brother-in-law, Kelly Sain, owner of Woodplay of the Carolinas. Cannot wait to dive into a conversation with him. I'll be right back.
Whether you're buying, selling, or investing in the Triangle, Michael Turbot with the Ida Turbot Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, will put you in position to win. With almost 15 years of real estate experience, Michael and his team will help navigate you through the real estate transaction from beginning to end, always putting your best interest first. In today's competitive real estate market, now more than ever, selecting the real estate professional to assist you with your biggest investment is vital. Please contact Michael Turbot today to find out more on what he and his team do to separate themselves from the rest and help you accomplish your real estate goals. Remember, who you work with matters, and Michael looks forward to hearing from you soon.
And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host again, Michael Turbot, and I am fired up to have my next guest with me. Actually, as I said in my intro, I know him pretty well. His name's Kelly Sain. He's actually my brother-in-law. But about 12 to 18 months ago, my brother-in-law and my sister took a big step, and they purchased a company called Woodplay of the Carolinas. And I wanted to get him on here just so he can tell us a little more about his business. Most importantly, tell us what his goals are, his ambitions, and where he sees himself in the future. So, Kelly, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Terb, glad to be on here with you, man. Appreciate the invite.
I appreciate you coming on, brother. First of all, before we get started, just tell everyone out there listening just a little more about yourself. Tell them a little more about Kelly Sain and maybe where you're from and what you did to get here.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. So I grew up in North Carolina, a little small town, about an hour from Charlotte, Lincoln County, North Carolina. Got to rep them a little bit there. So grew up there with my family and ended up going to college at UNC Chapel Hill and played a little football there when Mac Brown was there coaching the first time. So I'm glad Mac is back. And then got out of college and went to grad school up at Appalachian State. Spent a little time up there, got my MBA, and then started working in banking. And I worked for BB&T for 22 years. I did a little bit of everything, but most of my time spent there was as a commercial banker. And each day I would be, working with business owners and, helping them achieve their goals and dreams in life. And I don't know, I just over time had an itch to want to own my own business and, apply a lot of the things I learned with working with other companies, into my own business. I think everybody has that dream of, you work so hard for a company and, I did very well there. They took really good care of me, but the whole idea of having a company where the harder I work, it all comes back to me was very, very appealing. So as you mentioned, Colleen and I started looking around and we came across this company and, back in August of 2019, we made the acquisition and we couldn't be more excited about it. So that's awesome. A little bit about my background.
See, I didn't even know you went to Appalachian, man. See, I learned something. So that's cool to get your master's. So you mentioned, I know you played football for the Heels. I find it interesting that former athletes, I think the competition side of it, the discipline leads into motivation, self-motivation to what maybe you're doing now. Would you agree on that?
Oh, totally. I mean, I grew up playing football, basketball, and baseball, and just, one, it kept me out of trouble, but two, just I just think in sports you learn so much as a person. You learn how to, play with others and be a good teammate, but you also learn about, being accountable and try to be the best you can be. And so those competitive juices have always flowed out of me, and I feel like that carries over into the business world. Obviously, we want to be as successful as we can be, and so I think that's a big part of it.
I think so, especially with you have to lead your employees, your company. You have a vision. You need them to follow and lead them there. So I do find it either former athletes, coaches, they do well in entrepreneur or where they have to get out on their own and do their own thing. So you were with BB&T 22 years. And then what made you all of a sudden just say, you know what, Colleen, I'm ready for a change. Let's go buy Woodplay. And first of all, before we go any further, tell everybody about Woodplay. Because I know, but tell them what you guys sell and offer to the community.
Yeah, so Woodplay of the Carolinas has been around since 1998 here in Raleigh. We're off Lumley Road, right around the corner from the Angus Barn. So a lot of folks, knew about us before we acquired the company, certainly. And basically, we carry really three main products. We sell Woodplay play sets. Actually, Woodplay, this is a little known fact, but Woodplay actually started in Raleigh, North Carolina back in the 70s. They since sold the company, and now they're located in Indiana. But basically, we carry their sets. We also carry Gorilla basketball goals, and then we also carry spring-free trampolines. And, we've just chosen, and the owners before us, we choose to carry really high-quality products because we want to make sure that, when you invest in something like this, that it's going to hold up over time. So they all come with really great warranties. And we've got some folks here that have been doing play sets for 20-plus years that work for us. So we're very knowledgeable. And really what we want to focus on is customer service because we want to make sure that when you walk out of here, from the time you walk in to the time we put that set in your yard, we want you to experience the best possible treatment from us. And since we're a family-owned business, we try to treat everybody just like family. So we hope that's what really differentiates us. And we hope you'll give us a try.
Yeah, it's funny. You kind of beat me to the next questions because I was going to ask, what separates you from your competition in regards to, what you specialize in. And so I think you answered that fantastic. So going back when, you decided to purchase Woodplay, what was would you say the biggest hurdle or maybe fear that you had to, jump with both feet in that pool? You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of people that have that dream or aspiration to start something new, but are just afraid of maybe a failure and don't pull that trigger. What motivated you to do that?
Well, I worked in the banking industry for 22 years, and one of the things that probably kept me there that long was this fear of the unknown, right? You kind of get comfortable. You're successful in your job. You get promotions. You're making a good income for your family with nice benefits, and all of a sudden, the thought of not having that can be pretty scary. Folks that are self-employed understand that totally. And so it took me a while. And as a banker, in general, I'm a pretty conservative person. So for me to kind of jump in with both feet kind of took a little bit of time. But I think for one, I've got a very supportive wife, and she believes in me, and that matters so much. And once we decided to do it, one of the things that we were looking for is, as you know, she sells real estate, and we were looking for a business that may be somewhat complementary. And as we talked about it, we thought, when we saw this company was listed for sale, we both looked at each other and were like, this is it. You sell a house, you might need to move your play set, you might need to buy a new play set, maybe you need a new basketball goal. So it just seemed like a really natural fit for us. And the fact, too, that it was an existing business, with a proven track record and a good reputation in the community, I think were critical because I don't know that I would have jumped in with both feet if it was a startup situation. And so to me, that was a big difference maker as we were evaluating different options to get into business.
No, that's a great point. And I know you mentioned Colleen, and for those out there that don't know, Colleen and I and my mother all work on a team together, the Terb group. So Colleen Terb Sain, she's actually been selling a couple years longer than me. And if you are in the market for a new home and play set, reach out to her. I'm sure that she will take great care of you. And now 2020 for all of us has been crazy to say the least. I would imagine to say that COVID has maybe impacted your business in a positive way. Kids wanting to play outside, trampolines. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, 2020 has been a different year for sure. And frankly, going into it, we were not really sure how it was going to impact us. But we've been pleasantly surprised and pleased. Basically when they shut down school back in March, and then they, after that, shut down kind of all the public parks, our phone just started ringing. and it has been ringing every single day. And the challenge really has been is supply, because our suppliers certainly didn't anticipate that we were going to have a pandemic, and certainly just like toilet paper and a lot of other things that you take for granted, we had a hard time just getting product in. But fortunately, we've kind of suffered through that, and our customers were, very gracious to hang in there with us when we took a little bit longer to get some sets in than we thought. And but business has just been really good for us, and we can't be more appreciative and thankful for that. So I'd say it's been a blessing for our family for sure.
And how many employees currently are at Woodplay, the Carolinas?
Yeah, so we currently have 3 employees that work here at our Raleigh location, and real excited to announce that we just signed a lease for a new location that we're going to be opening up in Charlotte.
All right, man. See that? This is new news to me. I didn't even know this. This is breaking news on the Super Terb podcast.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, news. That's awesome, man. So you have 3 employees, and then I know you're out in the trenches too, building these things or setting them up, which I think is impressive as well.
Yeah, what better way as an owner to really learn the business than get out there and get your hands dirty with the product and really understand, what goes on after you sell the product. So, I've been out there, and we've been busy, and frankly, I've just needed to be out there because we've had enough business that, in order for us to get the sets on the ground, it's just been all hands on deck. And we've hired 2 more folks that are going to be in our Charlotte location, and so we've been training them here out of Raleigh too. So it's been a real team effort to make sure that we get all these things installed on time, because we've got Christmas right around the corner, and a lot of people are counting on us to deliver this time of year. So
that is awesome. So you just announced the new Charlotte location. Where do you see Woodplay in 5 years? Do you see other locations? Do you see growing more in Raleigh? Tell us what your goal is by, let's say, 2025.
Yeah, we definitely have big plans. When we bought the business, we wanted to grow the business and expand the business. So we started off with, the normal things that you would think of. We really invested in a new website. We increased our marketing to try to attract more buyers. And so we've been doing those things, and we definitely have growth plans. Charlotte is definitely, the next step, and Charlotte's just a huge market, and so we're excited about that. And then from there, who knows? I do think that there are some other markets that we're looking at. We cover the whole state of North Carolina, but we also cover Virginia and South Carolina. In fact, in 2 days from now, I'm going to Charleston, South Carolina, and we're installing 2 sets down there. So we really cover a pretty wide area, and for us, being a little closer to some of those markets, I think could really help us with some of our growth goals that we'd like to achieve. And we get calls constantly. I got a call the other day from Washington, D.C. There's not a Woodplay dealer in that area, and so they were asking if we would travel up there, which I'm told them, well, that's a little far for me to travel. But so I think there's a lot of growth potential, and where we go next, we'll figure out. But we're excited about our future for sure.
That's exciting, man. So I'm going to have a couple more questions before I let you go. And then I'm going to have you tell everybody how they can reach you, contact you. And, of course, I'm going to post all this in our post so they know how to reach you directly. But I like to ask this to all my guests. What drives you, and what is the best advice you've received that still motivates you today? Whether that's growing up, a coach, parent figure, is there something that stands out that you'll lean on to help motivate you and guide you through this?
Yeah. Oh, great question. Great question. Yeah, growing up, my grandfather was such a big influence in my life, and unfortunately, he's not here any longer. But one of the things that he told me, well, 2 things really. He told me is you always got to invest in yourself, and what he meant by that is, before you pay anybody else, pay yourself. Invest in your long-term future. that's one of the things that he didn't do, and so he had to work a really long time before he could actually retire. And, that's one of the things that he impressed upon me. And then the other thing he said is, be the guy that just outworks everybody else and that doesn't raise his hand for recognition. He said, because so many times in life, people will think they're working hard, or maybe they are working hard, but they're constantly waving their hand thinking that they're ready or deserving of the next promotion. And so, I took that to heart, and I always tried to work as hard as I could. And I was that guy that I just kept my nose down. I just kept grinding, whether it was with work or athletics or whatever. And believe it or not, your boss, your coach, whoever, they actually notice. They notice that, man, this guy's really putting in the effort, and they rewarded me over time. And I just felt like working hard but being humble was a big key to my success in the corporate world, and will be my success, I think, owning my own business. So those were two things. And I don't know if I answered your other question. I can't remember what it was now.
I think it's a combination question. You said it perfectly, so I love to hear that. And lastly, tell everybody how they can reach out to you, contact Woodplay if they need that new basketball goal for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to check us out probably is online. Our website is www.woodplaync.com. And on there, you'll be able to see all of our products. You'll be able to get our pricing sheets, our catalogs. You can even buy things online straight from our website. And then if you want to talk to us, we're always happy to talk to you and give you advice and point you in the right direction. We're at 919-781-6556. And lastly, I would just say, we have a 10,000 square foot showroom here in Raleigh. And we always encourage the people to try before you buy. We have all of our play sets, our trampolines, all of our goals set up on here on display. So we're at 9521 Lumley Road, right around the corner from the Angus Barn. So we hope to see you in here soon.
That is awesome. Well, Kelly, man, I appreciate you coming on my podcast, and I'm excited for everyone to get to know you a little bit more. And I can't thank you enough. So I'm going to take a quick break, guys. And on the other side, I'm going to highlight my local beer of the week. Stay tuned.
Whether you're buying, selling, or investing in the Triangle, Michael Turbot with the Ida Turbot Group, Coldwell Banker HPW, will put you in position to win. With almost 15 years of real estate experience, Michael and his team will help navigate you through the real estate transaction from beginning to end, always putting your best interests first. In today's competitive real estate market, now more than ever, selecting the real estate professional to assist you with your biggest investment is vital. Please contact Michael Turbot today to find out more on what he and his team do to separate themselves from the rest and help you accomplish your real estate goals. Remember, who you work with matters, and Michael looks forward to hearing from you soon.
Welcome back to the Super Terb podcast, and hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Kelly Sain, an owner of Woodplay the Carolinas. And before I let you guys go, I'm going to do my feature of my local beer of the week here in the Triangle. And today's beer I'm very excited about. One, their brewery, they actually have two locations now. It's a Lonerider Brewery, and they are awesome. They have a location over off Glenwood Road, and then they have what they call as the Hideout in Wake Forest. Obviously, too, they have all their beers in Harris Teeter, local grocery stores. But today I have one of their IPAs. It's called Smash, single malt and single hop, ales for outlaws. And it's an awesome beer. I love it. It's smooth. Alcohol's good, too, 6.6. And it's a great beer. But, of course, at Lonerider, they have several beers to choose from. Go check them out. Before I let you go, of course, I got to try it. They've been awesome too. Obviously, pre-COVID, I have my appreciation events there. Just really fun. They usually have live music, food trucks, of course. Reach out to them before going out there because I know with COVID, everyone has protocol, but they're a great place to go. Very dog-friendly too, which I like. So, without further ado, delicious. Again, that is the Smash Single Malt and Single Hop IPA. Go check it out. Thanks again for listening to this week's Super Terb podcast. If you need any help with your real estate goals, please reach out to me. Again, it's Michael Turbot, a.k.a. Super Terb, your local real estate expert in the Raleigh-Durham Triangle area. And as always, remember, who you work with matters. Have a great week. And thanks for listening to the Super Terb podcast. If you can, please leave a review and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it.